This week I have 5 PokerGO memberships to give out for free. PokerGO streams poker all year long. It's a little over $100 value. If you love watching poker, you want to try to win this. In order to be eligible, you just have to leave a comment. There will be a certain hand I play in the vlog that I'm unsure about how I played, and I want to hear user feedback on how you would have played the hand. Critiquing my play, how you would have played it different, if you would have played it the same, whatever. And the 5 that I like the best, I will give PokerGO subscriptions to. Simple as that. As far as this week's vlog, we are back at the Last Chance series, trying to win our way in the PokerGO Championship. We're just outside the top 40. There's only a few events left. This is event number 2 of 6 of the Last Chance series. Let's see what I can do. And first hand off the deck here, we see Japanese poker vlogging superstar Masato raise in the hijack to my right. I'm in the cutoff. I look down at 2 10s. I could go either way with this. It is the first hand, and some people are a little hesitant to play a big pot right out of the gates, but I came to do battle, so I put in a 3-bet. When it gets back to Masato, he puts in a 4-bet. So we start with 125 big blinds deep. This is too deep to put in another raise, in my opinion, with 2 10s here. So the standard is to call. We see the Queen 7-5 flop. He makes a small continuation bet. My hand is just too good to fold here, even with an overcard on board. So I call. Turn is a 7. Pretty bricky card. I have a few more 7s in my range probably that I would 3-bet call with like some suited connectors. I'm happy to check back. River is a 4, which is another brick, and he checks. I debate going for a little value, but he could play a hand like pocket jacks this way, or getting tricky with a queen or a set of queens. So I have to decide if ace king would call me here, and I decide that it's not worth betting, so I check back, and he does indeed have the ace king, and I take down a nice 4-bet pot right out of the gate. And a few hands later, I am lucky enough to look down at 1 ace, and right behind it is another ace. The pocket rockets. My pulse increases, my thoughts run wild. How much money will I win? 50K? 75K, maybe I'll bust someone. Maybe I'll bust 2 people, who knows? Let's watch the action go around the table here.
3,500.
Okay. I see. As we see, everyone is looking out the frickin' window, and I win the blinds. Better than losing, I guess. How do you know? So now we're in level 3. The big blind is 2,000. I have about 60 big blinds here, and I have king queen offsuit in the hijack. Very easy raise. It's folded to Brandon Wilson in the small blind. He puts in a 3-bet to about 18,000. I make the call. We see the ace king 10 flop. So I flop middle pair with a gut shot. Could be worse. I don't have a heart. There are 2 hearts on board. He bets out a continuation bet of a quarter pot. Pretty easy continue here for me. Turn is a 7. He checks. I don't have a lot of reason to bet here. I just want to try to get to showdown with my middle pair. So I check back, hoping to beat queens and jacks, maybe a 3-bet with queen 10 or 10-9. River is an 8. And he bets out again, this time 15,000. So only about a quarter pot again. I feel like it's not impossible he's betting king jack for value even, maybe. I mean, that's a little thin, but it's hard to kind of make sense of what he might have. A weak ace makes the most sense. Giving the odds I'm getting here and blocking the straight, I think I just have a call. So I flick it in, and he tables jacks. So I pick up a nice little pot here. Let's fast forward 3 levels here to level 6. Big blind is now 4,000. I pick up king queen offsuit again, this time in the cutoff. I of course make a raise, and we see Victoria on the button call. So it's heads up to the flop, and we see jack 10-3 with a flush draw. I decide to bet a little bit on the bigger side with my king queen off. I bet about 10,000. She makes the call. The turn is a complete brick, 6 of spades. I can certainly barrel again if I would like. I do decide to check this time. And I see her bet a quarter pot. So thinking about what this could mean, I think it could mean top pair, obviously, big hands, obviously. Also just maybe some flush draws that perhaps I could get to fold. Maybe a hand like king queen. Maybe even a hand like second pair, you know, king 10, ace 10, just for some protection against ace king or king queen. And for some reason, I just didn't think there was a lot of strength in this bet. So she bets a quarter pot, and I decide to just move all in with my open-ended and 2 overs if she has top pair. She thinks not too long, gives it a call with the king jack offsuit. So she's got top pair here. I'm in trouble. I'm open-ended. I also have a queen to win. River is the 9. So I win a nice pot here and send her to the rail. And still in level 6 is folded around to me in the small blind. We have Clemen Deng in the big blind. So something to note, he just won today's tournament for $278,000. I should say yesterday's tournament. It just finished today though, so quite a nice little chunk of cash he picked up. Will that affect his play? Maybe he'll play looser, tighter. I wouldn't think tighter, if anything looser, but he's pretty even keeled and I don't think it will really affect him too much, so I don't think it plays a big part here with most of the players in this room. Queen 5 offsuit, he's playing about 100,000. I decide to raise. Why raise such an awful hand, you might ask? Well, ranges are wide. There's only one player to beat. He can have anything. He will just have to fold a lot of hands, so I don't have to raise, but you end up raising a lot of trashy hands in the blinds. So I raise. I would rather see a fold, obviously, but he makes the call, and we see queen 7-6 flop. So I flop top pair. Pretty good. I think I will start with a continuation bet here. I bet a quarter pot. Pretty good flop for me. Top pair, not the greatest kicker, but that's what happens when you raise queen 5 offsuit. You get into some tricky spots. Plenty good to bet. I fire a bet of 10,000. He makes the call. Turn brings a 3, so that also gives me a gut shot with my top pair. I think this is good enough just to keep betting here. I'm not worried about much. It's a pretty easy call if he shoves. So I bet 30,000 into 48,000. He makes the call. River brings that gut shot right in for me, so I make the straight. I debate between checking and betting. I do decide to check, and he puts all of his chips in but one chip. You know, this is a big thing. People don't like it. They complain. They're like, why would you do this? It's actually just a good strategy. Some people think that you're shooting an angle, like they think you're all in, so they reveal their hand first. That's not the reason this is done. So anyways, you will see most good players do this. So if he is bluffing and I call, he still has the one chip, which is worth quite a bit because you're still in the tournament. That being said, I have a straight here, so I am going to put the rest in. And he calls pretty quickly, which any sort of value hand he has, he's going to call. And he ends up having top set. So I get to bust the winner of today. Against all odds on the flop here, I have top pair, he has top set, and we backdoor the straight. Sorry, Clemen. And now we're in level 8. The big blind is 5,000. The low jack raises. They only have 75,000. So they start the hand with 15 big blinds. I look down at the ace king offsuit. Very easy 3-bet. I make it 32,000. And much to my delight, I see them shove all in. And we're off to the races. They do have a very good hand, pocket queens. We don't get an ideal flop, all low cards, and the turn is also a brick. So 6 outs going into the river here. I do not connect, and they get a double up. I'm getting the clock. Yeah, but you're just in it. You're inadvertently in it. And here we get an in real-time peek of the PGT Championship qualifiers. As you can see, I am tied for 40th place with Nacho. So I'm in there for now, but there's 4 more tournaments after this. So I'm going to have to do something to get into this. Someone will pass me. Well, let's see what we can do. Like, there was a lot of mix action going. What about the 10 and a spade?
I said 10 of spade.
Oh, wow. I thought you said 10 or spade. I'm like, that doesn't even work.
How much?
100.
Yeah. Get that on the vlog, dude. I called that out.
Here we're in level 10, so registration is closed. I look down at ace queen in the hijack and make an open. Kary Catz to my left in the cutoff, shoves all in, very easy call. He has the 9s, I have the ace queen, so it's a race. Great flop for me. Top pair. Turn another ace, which I don't need. So he's got to catch a 9, and he does not. So I send Kary to the rail. My stack is up to 484,000, which is pretty nice right now, considering we are getting closer and closer to the money. And just a few hands later in the same level, we see Byron Kaverman under the gun, move in most of his stack here. And it's folded around of us in the big blind. We look down at ace king, so we happily put the rest of the stack in. He obviously has to call, and it's a best case scenario type situation. He has king queen, so looking good going into the flop. And on the turn, he does have a flush draw and a gut shot, so a little bit of a sweat here, but he does not get there. We hold, we bust him. 22 players are left, 18 get paid. We're looking good. Now we're in level 15, 20 players remain, 18 get paid. The minimum cash is $18,900. My stack is looking pretty decent. I'm in the hijack with 2 10s, very easy raise here. Gets over to Collopy in the big blind, and he moves all in for 400,000. I think 10s is just too big to fold here for sure, even though we are close to the money. So I make the call, and we do have to do some waiting for the other table. And in the meantime, I tried talking to Jim, and he bubbled the PGT championship at least once, and he has bad feelings about doing it again, so he doesn't even want to talk about who he thinks is going to win, anything. I feel at this moment he's not going to win, and I'm going to win.
Jim? Man, how you feeling about this?
I kind of feel like Jim's overselling.
We did this yesterday, and I won. I won, so I have the momentum, so I'll win again. I think it goes sometime.
So, off to the races, 10s versus ace queen. I flop the set, but he's not dead. He turns open-ended, but bricks out on the river. I'm up to 1 million, which is a pretty nice 40 big blind stack. One off the money. You see some new faces at the table. Sam Soverel, Brock Wilson's to my left, and they all have some chips, so we'll be playing some pots here. And in the low jack here, we look down at aces, put in the raise, fold around to Chris Hunushin. In the big blind, he makes a call. He is very, very short stacked here. Keep that in mind. So the flop is jack 5 deuce, and he is so short, I just move the rest of his chips in, which I would do with most of my hands here. I run into it though. He's got jack 5, so top 2 pair. Turn is the deuce. So his jack 5's counterfeited. I just have to dodge another jack or a 5 on the river. It does not come. He's out the door. And how is this not a bounty tournament? How rich would I be if this was a bounty tournament? But yeah, you know, of course it's not a bounty tournament, but next hand. Now we're in level 16. The big blind is all the way up to 30,000, so the stakes are getting big here. Sam limps in the small blind. I look down at the 10-9 offsuit and check behind. We see the ace 7-7 flop. He just fires out the minimum bet. I decide to take one off. I have some backdoor straight draws. Maybe I can turn a pair. Maybe I can bluff him. It is important to continue very wide in these spots. Turn is a 5, bringing a flush draw. He checks it over to me, and I just decided I need to start bluffing with this one, so I put in a bet of 75,000. Unfortunately, he makes the call. River is a 6, so a backdoor straight draw gets there like 8-9. Also, maybe I could just have an ace. A 7 I can certainly have. He checks over to me, and I overbet the pot here. I put in 375,000, decide to put Sam to the test. He gives it some thought, makes the fold, and I take him off a nice little pot here. Now we're in level 17. I'm up over 1.5 million, so very good stack here. And Soverel opens the button. He's got a little over 600,000. I look down at 2 5s in the small blind. Brock to my left has a little over 1 million. And I think I just want to shove the 5s here, put maximum pressure on Sam. And he does call. He's got ace queen. I catch a safe flop, and I turn the set, and he's dead. River is an ace, adding insult to injury. Sam's out the door. I ran super well, literally took all of Sam's chips since he got moved to the table. And it's not always that easy. Sam is one of the fiercest players out there. And if you follow this vlog, you've seen me battle him a lot. It's always a good time. Getting a look at the chip counts here, we can see I'm up to second place, a very nice stack. Only Patrick Leonard has more. 12 players left. Something to note, Brock Wilson has a pretty good stack too, and he is to my left, so that could get interesting. And a few hands after sending Soverel to the rail, we see Jared Jaffe open in the hijack. Coleman calls the small blind. I decide to call king deuce of diamonds in the big blind, closing the action, and we flop a flush draw, jack 6-4, 2 diamonds. Pretty happy to see it check around. So I get my free card. On the turn 10, Coleman bets out 150,000. Pretty easy continue for me here. So I make the call. Jaffe gets out of the way. River is the 3, and Coleman checks over to me. So now I have a real decision here if I'm going to bet or check. I do not think I can win this hand by checking. Maybe he could have 8-9. Unlikely. He probably would bluff it if he did. There are certainly better hands in my range to bluff, but this also is a pretty good card for my range, given that I can have some 5-7 and some straights here, whereas he can't. So I do decide to bluff. I didn't feel super confident this is the best play, and like I said, there's certainly better bluffing candidates, but I thought this one might get in there some. So I do put it in, and I go very large, all in, putting him to a big test here. He gives it some thought and lets it go. Finally, I get a nice big bluff through. In the very next hand, the blinds do go up. It's folded around to me in the small blind, queen 9 of hearts. It's a beauty of a hand. I flick in the call. Brock Wilson's in the big blind. He checks behind. We see 10-4 deuce, backdoor flush draw for me. Very notable here. I could certainly bet this. I decide to check. He bets out 50,000. I think he could do this with a lot of hands, just kind of betting, hoping I fold. And given that information, my hand is pretty good to just put in a check raise, I think. I could also just certainly call. I put in the raise, so 175,000. He lets it go, so I pick up a nice little pot here.
565. Right. 565. Oh.
Damn.
Alright, we're on break. 9 people left. I'm about 2.5 million. Big blind has gone to 60K. I'm around 40 big blinds, and I'm like second chips, I think. So it just shows how shallow this is. I think average stack's maybe 25 big blinds, something like that. So Brock to my left with, I have the most of my table, so I can kind of play a lot of pots. Coleman to my right. No one really has a lot of chips, so a lot of raise and take it's picking up small pots here and there, all ins here and there. But gosh, after red close, I just went on that heater, beat Sam every pot, and just went really well. So really just try to stay focused because it's late, people are tired, we bag at 6, so it's important to not get sloppy at this point and stay focused, keep your eye on the prize. So yeah, hopefully I keep running hot.
So after the break, we are up another level, level 19. The big blind is 60,000. I'm in the small blind here with Jack 7 offsuit, and I decide to limp. Brock is in the big blind with about 1.9 million, so we both have pretty big stacks, although it is only a little over 30 big blinds for him. We see the ace queen 8 flush draw flop. I decide to fire out a little bet here, hoping to just take it down. He does not agree with that, makes the call. Turn is a 9, completing the flush, and I feel like I have a pretty good hand to bluff with here, given I have a heart and the straight blocker. So given I stab the flop, I think it makes sense to continue with a semi-bluff here on the turn. So I take another stab, a half pot. He does call, unfortunately. The river pairs the 9, so now I have to decide if I want to bluff this one or not. And honestly, I think this is a pretty dang good candidate to bluff. And I decide to pick a size that I would probably do with a 9, maybe a straight, maybe a flush. I bet 325K. He gives it some real thought. Maybe I pushed it too far. I have been bluffing quite a lot. He does let it go. I pick up another nice pot. Things are going very well here. And here we're in another small blind, big blind battle with Brock Wilson. This time we've got a little better hand, king, queen offsuit. We limp again and we see Brock make a raise to 190,000. The big blind is still 60,000, so a little over 3x. Very easy continue here. And we see the ace 4-3 flop with 2 hearts. Very notable, we have the king of hearts. We check, and given he bets 110K, which is about a quarter pot, very easy continue here with king high in the backdoor flush draw. Turn is an 8 of hearts. We check again, Brock checks back. The river is a 5, so a 4-card straight comes out, a deuce makes a straight. A deuce is more in his range than my range. He did raise pre-flop, but at these stack depths, versus a limp, people will raise some hands with a deuce in them, and I will not limp call that many. So that certainly favors him. However, there are some things going my way, like the flush gets there, and I feel like that's a fairly significant part of my range, given that I check called a flop like this. So a lot of my pairs would just check back, hoping to get to showdown. I'm a little torn here what to do. I've been bluffing left and right like a maniac, so maybe I should be talked into slowing down a little bit. But I can't think of a lot of worse hands that I'm going to have in this spot, and I do pull the trigger on another overbet. And while you do something like that, when you've bluffed like 5 people in a row, you kind of think like, man, I shouldn't be trying it this time. But then again, how strong does it look? They have to be thinking, is he really going to just keep bluffing like this? Or they don't know I bluff. But even if I had it all those times, would I be bluffing in this spot? Because I'm probably more likely to get called. So I don't bet all of his chips. I leave him just a little bit. Some people might interpret that as stronger, some people weaker, hard to say. Brock later told me that he thought it looked a little stronger because I didn't put him all in. I'm leaving just a little bit of a stack left, so that makes a lot of sense. However, after quite a tank, he does call. What's he have, an ace probably, 2 pair, something like that? No, he's got a pair of 4s.
This is the worst!
And he kind of owns me here. So he does have a pretty good bluff catcher. He has a heart, and he has a straight blocker, and the pair blocker. So he doesn't really interact with any of the hands that I'm going to bluff with. So hats off to Brock, big call there. And after that hand, I am down to 1.6 million, kind of deflates me a little bit. But let me know in the comments how you would have played this hand. Would have you played it similar, played it differently? The best explanations I get, I will give the PokerGO subscriptions to. So I have 5 PokerGO subscriptions to give away. Give me a good explanation of how you would have played this hand differently, pre-flop, post-flop, what you would have done, just some analysis, and I will pick the 5 best ones, reach out to you, and give you your free year of PokerGO. So shortly after my blow up with the King Queen, we are down to 7 players, and that's gonna be a night for us. I'm old, it's late, I'm ready for bed. I got a ways to drive home. So I bag up 1.7 million. I think it's a little over 30 big blinds here. So decent little stack coming into the final table tomorrow. Now time to get some rest.
All right, I'm heading down to Aria for this final table, 7 left. Feeling pretty good despite getting to sleep at about probably 2:30, waking up at 9. Yeah, that's always something to deal with when you do good in these tournaments, but good problem to have because you're making money, so you can't complain, you know, you're making some money. I think I'm guaranteed 50K right now, so you gotta trade in a little sleep once in a while for some cash, so it's all good. But it does become an issue as these series go on. So Coleman was saying how tired he was last night, and we'll see how people are today, because it can definitely affect some plays and some decision making, and today's when the real money's on the line, so it's important to try to overcome the lack of sleep. I'm in the 6th seat today. Coleman's to my left, Brock is to my right. We're about tied for 3rd in chips. We're like 3, 4, 5, pretty close. Patrick Leonard, Pads, is in the 2 seat. He's got all the chips. And Joao Samao is in the 1 seat, and he is the 2nd chips. Schulman is in the 3 or the 4. Jared Jaffe is in one of those seats also. So pretty tough final table, you know, and not a great seat for me given big stacks to my left, but it's just the way it is. Really, you know, just see what happens. I have 30 big blinds, plenty of chips to do something. This might get me into the free roll right now. It moved me up a few spots, so I'm like 37th or something right now, but Coleman and Brock are both right there in the leaderboard race with me. They're right next to me. So if I bust first and they both finish higher than me, they'll probably both pass me. So I would only move up like 1 spot on the leaderboard. So a couple of ladders would kind of be more likely to get me into the PGT championship. So something I'll be thinking about, a little extra incentive there if I am able to do well. So, but yeah, I'm feeling good and ready to play.
And this final table was quite a test, honestly. It's obviously tough, but also the short stacks would not bust. So there was several all-ins, starting with Brock, who has Schulman at risk. Brock loses his ace-queen to Schulman's 9-9, so Brock's left short with 600K. But then he just doubles back and doubles back again through pads, and now he's got a big stack. And then Coleman short with 400K, and you'd think he would bust, but he keeps winning these all-ins. And then Zhao finally busts in 7th place, so there's one pay jump there. I do find an all-in spot where Schulman opened and I had ace-jack offsuit. I went all in and he folded, so I wasn't at risk. But as it keeps going, I do get ground down. And as I get a little under 10 big blinds, I pick up the king 10 offsuit. In the cutoff, I could potentially maybe just make a small raise here, but I am the shortest stack. Maybe Coleman to my left has about the same as me. I do decide to put most of it all in, just leaving 150K behind. And pads unfortunately calls in the small blind. We see a 8 deuce deuce flop, and he leads all in. Given that I'm getting about 15-1, I don't think I can fold this hand. I could have an overcard to a pair. I could have 2 live cards if he had ace queen, ace jack. So I think I just got to flick it in. And he does have pocket 10s, so I will need a king to continue here. That's only 3 outs with 2 cards to come, and does not get there for me. I am out in 6th place. I pick up $63,000. Things could be worse, but I had my eyes on first place here, of course, as usual. And as it ran out, Patrick Leonard does end up taking down this tournament. David Coleman got 2nd. Nick Schulman got 3rd, Jaffe got 4th, and Brock got 5th. So Coleman and Wilson both finish ahead of me. So I think they're going to jump me in the leaderboard. So I am in the PGT Championship as of right now, although I do have 4 more tournaments to go. So nothing is guaranteed whatsoever. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoy this type of content, please like and subscribe. I will see you next time.